Hello and welcome to this new edition of Business Africa. This week we are in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt, where the COP27 is in full swing since a week. As you know, this year's UN Climate Conference takes place in the circumstances of extreme weather events worldwide, an energy crisis propelled by the war in Ukraine, and scientific data reiterating that the world is not doing enough to tackle carbon emissions and protect the future of our planet. And we will share more details in our next editions. Also, like every fortnight, you can win $150 in our Business Africa game at the end of the show. But first, today's top stories. Official signature of a scientific Francophonie manifesto, creation of a network of students' club, as well as an artificial intelligence ecosystem. The Agence universitaire de la Francophonie is multiplying innovations.
Today we already have one of the world's biggest associations and intend to make 1 or 2 calls per year, allowing others to join as well.
Nigeria, champion of cryptocurrency, we head for Abuja and its new virtual financial technology hub.
Convexity is a blockchain technology focused company, and we are interested in seeing the blockchain technology prosper and of course expand within African sub-region, starting from Nigeria.
Healthy animals mean regular income. Livestock keepers in Zambia make the healthy choice for their herd.
The reporting system has become very efficient now. Sometimes, if there is an emergency, I might not meet my boss there and then to report the issue. But with this one, wherever he is, he'll get the report.
Sustainable development, of course, but also scientific and cultural awareness. These are some of the themes chosen by 100 students who came from all over the world last month for the creation of 180 French-speaking student clubs. This first Congress of Francophone students took place in Cairo on the sidelines of the second edition of the Francophonie Scientific Week, which brought together many academics. 25 universities have also participated in the creation of a French-speaking network on artificial intelligence. Our journalists Laurent Soustras and Nicolas Margeron have followed these major breakthroughs. Take a look.
An eventful week in Cairo, where the Scientific Francophone Week took place with some 40 ministers of higher education and 100 student leaders gathered in the Egyptian capital by the Agence universitaire de la Francophonie for the second edition of this event. One major innovation at the heart of the program, the creation of the first network of French-speaking student clubs.
I can assure you that the challenge was tough, and that's why out of the 300 applications we received, we only selected 180 clubs, which is huge. Today we already have one of the world's biggest associations and intend to make 1 or 2 calls per year, allowing others to join as well.
The Agence universitaire de la Francophonie has more than 1,000 member universities and research infrastructures. Today, it is the world's leading university network, present in 40 countries to promote the know-how and excellence of French-speaking universities and their expertise in the world of business and economy.
We believe at the AUF that the acquisition of skills, immersive activities such as teamwork, event organization, project management, fundraising, communication, should be an initiative in the associative life. The AUF also seeks to have direct contact with the students, because everything we do it for the students. But paradoxically, we don't do anything directly with them. We gave them the freedom, of course, to choose the theme they wanted, whether sustainable development, culture, debate clubs, or clubs linked to the promotion and popularization of science, or literature, or even cinema. The idea is that whatever the activity, it is above all their commitment to carry out projects, work together, and that they learn how to promote an idea, to defend or to militate for a cause.
A speech perfectly resonating with these young leaders, very motivated by the proposal to nurture a concrete commitment during their studies. This is the case of Marina Eyongve. This Gabonese economist and leader of a student club aims to raise awareness about environmental issues among young people.
Nous sommes des acteurs majeurs, d'où
we are major actors, hence the interest in recent years from the youth of Central Africa, of the Congo Basin region, to understand environmental issues, to make better decisions, to predict the future in a better way, because we are the future decision makers of tomorrow. We should know how to manage our nations and our states and resources effectively to maintain a certain balance in the ecosystem. The activities aim to structure a group of young Francophone leaders from training courses on how to turn an entrepreneurial idea into reality to a hackathon, a project management simulation, a not-to-be-missed opportunity for the African student elite to benefit from the expertise and, why not, vulgarize extraordinary projects adapted to the continent's needs.
We thought that the population had an energy problem. Waste is the main raw material for producing this form of energy, which can replace firewood, for which they have cut down trees. So how can we provide a solution for these people using the waste that they produce themselves? This can be kitchen waste, livestock waste, agricultural waste, and other wastes.
The solution is presented here by the winner of this year's Student Entrepreneurial Prize, 60 Seconds to Convince, organized by the AUF.
So these are mobile devices. We recycle local material, produce kits that can produce biogas, and at the end of the production, we can recycle the waste again to create biofertilizers that are used in agriculture.
Beyond the promotion of African solutions brought by these student entrepreneurs, the AUF aims to create a solid network of expertise worldwide. Budget of €150,000 was destined to the student clubs this year, and a rigorous follow-up is planned through a label system. The week in Cairo was also an opportunity to see the birth of a French-speaking network of artificial intelligence, which already federates 25 universities from 15 countries, while the presence of the French language in research publications is very limited.
The choice was made on sociological, cultural, and the linguistic impact of AI. So it's not so much the technical or technological issues that are of our interest, as they are very well studied by others. But it is precisely the cultural and sociological dimension. And this is where the question of the French-speaking world becomes relevant, even with such a technological subject, because changing the health sciences through artificial intelligence is another way. It's another vision of humanitarian aid today. So it's not technical, and that was the meaning of this reflection.
The cohesion of all these initiatives will be guaranteed by the new manifesto of the scientific French-speaking community signed in Cairo last month by the 40 or so ministers present, and which will be presented at the end of the week at the French-speaking community summit in Djerba.
As I mentioned earlier, we are in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt, where foreign heads of state and their delegations arrived last week for the annual United Nations Climate Conference, the COP27. Among them, a strong African presence for this edition, which was unanimously described as an emergency summit. The continent is calling for an international mechanism to address loss and damage related to the fight against climate change. The countries of the South also want their situation and the fight against poverty to be taken into account in the transition to clean energies. Will they get concrete compensation and not just promises? We will know more at the end of the week. The second coup in Burkina Faso is likely to cost its economy dearly. The United States has announced that as of January 1st, Burkina Faso will be removed from the African states entitled to benefit from the African Growth and Opportunity Act, the AGOA. This text gives access to exports of products from the African continent free of customs duties towards the United States. A year ago, the Central Bank of Nigeria launched the e-Naira, an official digital currency. The idea was to discourage the massive use of cryptocurrencies seen as a threat to the traditional banking system. But the results are quite equivocal. No more than 0.5% of the Nigerian population has adopted the e-Naira. Meanwhile, The development of cryptocurrencies that use a decentralized computer network without control from monetary authorities is thriving. Blockchain technology is at the heart of transactions, and a specialized center was established last year in Abuja. Let's find out with our journalist on site, Hugo Kiwana.
The blockchain technology globally is opening a new vista of opportunities as a solution provider and technologically advancing our everyday life. Many players in the sector crave for a place where they can network, trade, and improve their knowledge base in a hub that is solely dedicated to the blockchain market and its technology. Recently, Convexity, the first blockchain hub in sub-Saharan Africa, was launched in Abuja, Nigeria's federal capital city. Its ambition is to checkmate the various prevailing problems in sub-Saharan Africa, with Nigeria leading the technological revolution.
Convexity is a blockchain technology-focused company, and we are interested in seeing the blockchain technology prosper and, of course, expand within African sub-region, starting from Nigeria. We believe it's a technology that is powerful to empower Africa, and we believe it's a technology that is meant for Africans. And therefore, most of the problems we see within Africa is the technology that can liberate Africa out of most of the things that we see. And that is what explains our establishment of the first blockchain hub, to make sure we'll galvanize, resources, galvanize talents, to come co-think, co-create, and solve local problems.
Convexity's forensic laboratory have partnered with the Nigerian government in upgrading its security architecture by training various security agencies to be equipped with the knowledge to be able to tackle crimes that would emerge from this technology.
We are Africa investigative partner to Chain Analysis, one of the world-leading blockchain analytic company that gives U.S. authorities support and law enforcement. We're also very much involved and in strong partnership with Blockchain Intelligence Group out of Canada. And of course, those are also people giving CIA support to investigate this infraction. So if you have this robust technology in-house in Nigeria, it makes a whole lot of sense that we help our law enforcement to understand this new technology, the new crime that will emerge as a result of this new money. And so we've been doing that. That have seen us and have some conversation and some little training for the military, and we did that specifically to the Nigerian Army Cyber Warfare Command.
Recently, Convexity held a training about tracking new forms of crimes for the Nigerian Security and Defense Corps. The blockchain hub is also encouraging startups by bringing together blockchain developers and entrepreneurs.
In the hub also we have a little arm that accelerate and also help startups. So we have one or two startups that we have put a little money behind them to see if they can succeed, and we also want to push them. This is either to what they should have been going to government to go look for. We're trying to liberate that, and a lot of solutions are coming. So we saw a lot of solutions around agriculture. We saw a lot of solutions about within finance, decentralized finance.
What we are doing at Convexity is taking out just trading from what we already know, and then bringing in the aspect of developing solutions that will be impactful to the society or to the community. So in our hub, right, we have developers that are working towards that. And so in order for us to achieve that, we are working towards a hackathon to bring developers and some startups together that will create solutions that will help the society.
Convexity has supported about 12 blockchain-powered solution startups such as DeFi, Data Integrity, Synergy, NFT API, just to mention a few. While some are still undergoing incubation, 2 have been directly financed by Convexity.
As a startup, we came for Convexity inaugural launch, and we pitched our idea to them. And they actually liked the idea. They bought into the idea and decided that they were going to fund us and incubate us in the hub. So far, we've been able to get developmental funding from them. We got a workspace, constant electricity and light, and internet asset, which has helped us to increase our development phase into our testnet stage, where we're working with developers to test run the API already.
With a first mover advantage, Convexity has opened up new opportunities in the blockchain market, which could reinforce the confidence of the various stakeholders in the solutions the technology brings. For example, blockchain technology could be widely used to fight financial corruption and ensure fair election monitoring and reporting. From ethical solutions to agricultural startups empowerment, blockchain offers a wealth of resources for emerging economies. This is an ongoing technological revolution that Convexity and Nigeria aim at lending on the African continent.
Welcome to the second part of our show. The Ethiopian government and the forces of the Tigray People's Liberation Front have finally ended one of the bloodiest African conflicts in recent years. The two sides signed a ceasefire and an agreement to silence the guns after African Union-led negotiations held in South Africa. The agreement guarantees the protection of civilians, the restoration of basic services and humanitarian supplies. And meanwhile, the East Africa Community, the EAC, is determined to bring about peace in the Democratic Republic of Congo in a context of strong regional tension. Kenyan President William Ruto welcomed the departure of a peacekeeping force of hundreds of soldiers to eastern Congo, a region very rich in mineral resources and where multiple rebel groups are active. Gabon is turning to Chinese expertise in fishing and aquaculture. The objective to revive tuna production while creating jobs. The country, a big consumer, imports 26,000 tons of fish a year, but the tuna sector has been slowing down since the closure of a dedicated factory 10 years ago. Gabon aims to process 10,000 tons of tuna per year as from next year. Let me now take you to Zambia for this last report. In this country located in the heart of southern Africa, livestock farming is one of the main activities of the inhabitants. To deal with epidemics that decimate the herds, there's one strategy: closely monitoring the health of animals, even if it means spending some part of their income. A report by Peter Yumi and Aurélie Turc.
Generations of smallholder farmers have tended their cattle in the rolling hills of Zambia's southern province. Simon Hilwindi's herd counts 110 animals, a large number by national standards, and today he's showing veterinary assistant Lilian Makosa his herd of cattle. Simon remembers the last serious foot and mouth disease outbreak in the region almost 10 years ago.
By that time I have 70 animals, and out of 70, 30 were dead. By that time, I had lost a lot of money. I had lost 750,000 to control the problems, the diseases.
The equivalent today of hundreds of dollars. Today, he says things are much better. He's benefited from a much improved animal health control system, due in large part to an internationally funded project. Foot and mouth diseases cause economic havoc. Almost 8 million cattle throughout the African continent were infected as recently as 2008. Estimates put the cost of that outbreak at over $15 million.
We struggled for a month. We did minimal production. It was very difficult to just pay wages.
Now, however, thanks in large measure to a 5-year, $20 million plus program, largely funded by the African Development Bank, the disease is much closer to being brought under control. Using digital pen technology, vet Lilian Makosa can alert the regional animal health authorities almost instantly if there's a new case of foot and mouth or any other bovine disease. Paired to a cell phone, the device can provide real-time information.
The reporting system has become very efficient now. Sometimes, if there is an emergency, I might not meet my boss there and then to report the issue. But with this one, wherever he is, he'll get the report.
Not just Zambia, but 4 neighboring countries have also benefited from the ADB's Trans-Boundary Animal Health Project, which aimed to improve not just the health of the region's livestock, but also the nation's cattle exports. All 5 countries have in the past failed to meet several livestock safety standards for such export markets as the European Union. Diseases respect no borders, and an outbreak in one nation can easily spread among herds and wildlife in neighboring countries. Wild buffalo are often carriers of diseases and remain a threat to domestic livestock.
The African Development Bank, through the SADC-TADZA project, has been very instrumental in helping Zambia in a number of ways. One, which top of the list, is a buffalo sampling exercise. The sampling was done, the viruses have been identified, and right now the strains have been identified and they've been profiled, and that information has been alleged to the laboratories that produce vaccines.
The 3-year program to capture and examine the buffalo cost well over $1 million. The Trans-Boundary Animal Disease Project brought neighboring countries' control and surveillance methods into line, and according to Zambian officials, has had a 70% success rate in stamping out the incidence of foot and mouth disease.
There's been the skills transfer from the expertise that came from outside that the bank hired to do the capture. Local people have since been trained in buffalo capture. So the benefit to Zambia is in excess of over $1 million in terms of the money that was spent, but also the human capital that has been recreated by the virtue of the training that was done.
The revenue of farmers doubled. The livestock value chain was secured in terms of job creation and flux of live animals to the abattoirs and to the market, to the suppliers, and also to the consumer. In terms of trade regionally, some indications are about 10 to 15% increase as a result of the intervention of this project.
It's an export market that potentially is worth over $40 million to Zambia. And consumer confidence in the safety and quality of the meat available from abattoirs has also been helped.
We were able to increase production by about 30%. And hence, since we increased production, we were able to move forward, to expand. We were able to open a new processing plant. Gave 60 people new jobs.
120 people now work at the Best Beef Company. And Trevor Kalidis says he's optimistic, so long as the diseases continue to be brought under control. Infected animals also produce substantially less milk. A clean bill of health is good news, therefore, for the St. Mary's Dairy Cooperative in the Monze district in the southwest of Zambia.
After 2 years, we increased 1,500, it was one day. This time, we are getting double. So we opened a new center, as you can see. So this time we are producing 3,000 liters in a day.
The new cooperative was a boon to smallhold farmer Elena Mwinga.
I can get here in just 2 hours now. Before I used to have to travel a day to sell my milk. I make 70% more these days. The extra money means I can pay for schooling and meet any medical bills.
With a handicapped daughter and several other children to care for, Elena says every penny counts. And every dollar has counted as the hunt for vaccines against specific diseases has been pursued in the laboratories as well.
Here I'm just preparing the sample, extracting DNA, manually.
But the samples need to be analysed and the vaccine developed, and here too there was money made available, allowing researchers not only to identify the origins of the disease, but also to speed up the process.
Conventional diagnosis took 3, 4, 5, 1 week, more days to give the results to the farmer. But this molecular diagnosis gives the results to the farmer at a very quick time. So it's very reliable and very good.
Over $500,000 went towards computers, software and the necessary skills training. Jasbin Hibajin is typical of livestock farmers in the Monze district. He owns 40 cattle and spends about 10% of his income, about $25, on having his animals vaccinated. With a growing family, he knows his livelihood depends on the health of his livestock. If his cattle remain free from disease, he'll be able to sell them and reinvest. Jasbin Hibajina, Elina Mawinga and hundreds of other smallhold farmers across southern Africa know the future can never be guaranteed. But with the continuing support of the researchers, the scientists and the veterinarians in the field, their chances of success have never been higher.
Well, it's now time to reward our loyal viewers of Business Africa. It's up to you to answer to the following questions. If you're drawn among those who have given the correct answers, you will win $150. This is game number 589, so listen carefully to the two questions that follow, and good luck. First question, where did the second edition of the Scientific Francophonie Week take place? Bucharest, Cairo, Quebec. Second question, where is the blockchain hub located in Nigeria? Lagos, Abuja, Ibadan. You know the answers. You can participate now by going to our website, africanair.com, in the replay section. Answer the questions, fill out your form, and good luck. And of course, don't forget to include your contact details, name, address, telephone, email, and the answers, of course. Check out the terms and conditions in the replay section on our news website, africanair.com. The winner will receive $150 as our winner this week. Congratulations, you gave the correct answers to our previous game. Here are the details. First question, how many people are affected by the Abidjan urban metro construction site? The answer, 13,000. Second question, when was the Beko solar energy project launched in Mogadishu? The answer, in 2014. Well, that's it. Business Africa is over for today. I'll see you next week from Sharm el-Sheikh again, where the COP27 will be drawing to a close. And I will be hosting the doctoral economist leader of a French-speaking student club, Marina Eyangve. In the meantime, you can watch this program again on our bilingual news website, africanair.com, and follow us on all our social networks. Feel free to share, like, and comment using the hashtag Business Africa. Take care of yourselves and see you next week. Bye-bye.